Hello dear children, welcome to the online session of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. Children, we were discussing chapter 2, that is accounting for partnership firm fundamental. This is a chapter from your volume 1. In this chapter, the next concept which we are going to discuss today is the past adjustment or adjustment for incorrect appropriation of profit in past after closing the books. So in this concept, what is being discussed is sometimes after closing the accounts of a partnership firm, some error or omission in the accounts of the earlier year are noticed. So when after closing the books of account, it may be noticed that there is some error or omission while recording the books or entries in the books of account. These errors or omissions are rectified by adjusting the capital accounts of the affected partners by passing an adjustment entry. So the omission or error of the entries, we cannot go back and cancel all the entries and do it again. It is impossible. So what is done is, whatever adjustment we have to do, that we will do in capital account of the partners, and that will be shown as an adjustment entry. Okay, so now how to do this, that we have to discuss by doing a problem. So here is a problem in front of you. P and Q were partners in a firm sharing profits equally. So P and Q are partners and they are sharing the profits equally, that is 1:1. Their fixed capitals were rupees 1 lakh and rupees 50,000 respectively. So capital of P is 1 lakh and capital of Q is 50,000. See children, the wordings fixed capital is used. So that means whenever you write partners capital account, instead of writing partners capital account, you have to write current account. That we will discuss later on. For the time being, you just understand that partner capital of P is 1 lakh and Q is 50,000. The partnership deed provided for interest on capital at the rate of 10% per annum. It was decided in partnership deed, that is agreement, written agreement, that interest on capital will be allowed to the partner at the rate of 10% per annum. For the year ended 31st March 2016, the profit of the firm were distributed without providing interest on capital. But what happened on 31st March 2016? Profit of the firm was distributed, but they have not considered interest on capital. This was omitted to be recorded. So distribution of interest on capital was not recorded on 31st March 2016. This is the error committed. So what to do? Pass necessary adjustment entry to rectify the error. We have to pass one single journal entry to rectify the error which have occurred. Now before passing the journal entry, so see what you have to do is, you have to show an adjustment entry. That means a journal entry. One single journal entry will be there. So for finding out this part of your answer, you have to show a working note. So children, what you have to do is, you have to draw a box in which a journal entry will be shown. A single journal entry. You leave a space for one single journal entry. Then after leaving some space, you can prepare a working note. In working note, we are calculating the interest on capital which is omitted to be recorded. So children, how much is the interest how much is the capital of P? It is 1 lakh. And how much is the capital of Q? It is 50,000. What is the rate of interest on capital? It is 10%. Now let us calculate that interest. P is 1 lakh. They have mentioned that interest rate is 10%. So 1 lakh into 10% will give you 10,000 as P's interest on capital. Now what about Q? Q's capital is 50,000 into 10%, that will give you 5,000 as Q's interest on capital. total interest on capital, how much it is? For P it is 10,000 and for Q it is 5,000. So for interest on capital in total it is 15,000. Now what is mentioned here? Just listen carefully. The above interest on capital has not been credited to the partners. See children, this is the amount which should be credited to the partner. This will be credited to partner's capital account, but it was not done. It is to be credited to the partner's current account, resulting in a loss of rupees 15,000 to the firm, which is to be debited to the partners in the profit sharing ratio, that is equally. So children, this 15,000 is a loss for the firm because 15,000 the firm is giving to the partner P and Q. So the firm is P and Q together is known as firm. So the firm have to give 10,000 to P and 5,000 to Q. From firm's point of view, 15,000 is a loss. Okay. Now let us go to the next working note. This is the first part of your working note. You had to show the calculation of interest on capital. So that we have shown. Now the second part of your working note is statement showing the adjustment for interest on capital and its effect. So children, last year we have distributed the profit to the partners without showing the interest on capital. That we are supposed to rectify. So here what you are supposed to do is, the working note 2, you have to write at the top statement showing the adjustment for interest on capital. Okay. Then draw a box. A box have to be prepared in which particulars P's current account, Q's current account and firm account have to be shown. The first part of your working note is amount to be credited by way of interest on capital. So how much interest on capital we are supposed to give to P? It is 10,000. As per our first working note, we received 10,000 which should have been credited to partner P. And for Q it is 5,000. This is also to be credited to Q. And the total of 15,000, it is a loss for the firm. So we are supposed to debit this 15,000 from firm. Now, actually this 15,000 amount was not distributed to the partner previous year. So because this was not distributed to the partner, it was like a profit for the firm last year. How much was that amount? This 15,000, as a second note you had to write, as a second working you had to write, amount wrongly credited. Last year the 15,000 which was actually the profit distributed to the partners, now we have to rectify that, and 15,000 will be distributed in the ratio of their profit. What is that profit sharing ratio? It is mentioned that it is equal. So on this 15,000 divided by 2, that is equal, 1:1 if you are going for, then you will get 7,500 and 7,500 which you have to debit. Okay. And in firm's account you are crediting this. Now draw a line. Below that you just write down balance to be adjusted. Here is the actual working. Here what you have to do is, you have to suppose this is A part of your answer and this is B part of your answer. You have to subtract A from B. How much you will get? 10,000 less 7,500. The answer is 2,500. And just check out which amount is more. Is it credit side more or debit side more? Yes, it is credit side, because credit side it is 10,000. So here you have to write credit. Now for Q, again subtract 5,000 with 7,500. How much you will get? 2,500. So again just note down which side is more. Yes, debits, that is 7,500 is more. So the debit amount is more. That you will write over here debit. Okay. So this is the part of your second working note. here the journal entry, here you have to understand that last year we have distributed the profit to the partners without considering the interest on capital. Now after distributing this interest on capital, how much is the profit that the partners will adjust among themselves? So from this you have to understand that here Q is supposed to give 2500 to P. Hence Q is debited and P is credited here. Q is supposed to give 2500 to P. Okay. So the journal entry goes this way. This is the first working, that is actual answer. This is the actual answer. But without giving the working note, you will not get the full mark, or working note is very essential in this type of question. So as per our working, we got that Q's current account is debited and P's current account is credited. With how much amount as per our working note? You receive 2500. Being adjustment of omission of interest on capital. So this is how your working goes.